Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and I work with a lot of individuals with attachment wounds. Today, I wanted to go over some techniques, basically techniques to make a long-distance relationship work with an avoidant. Now, a lot of you guys are not the avoidant partner, but when I'm talking or making any of these videos, I'm not saying that you do all of these things and your partner does not compromise. Both of you guys should be compromising and there should be some progress. Even if one is making less than the other, it's really not a competition. At the end of the day, as long as you guys are putting an effort for the relationship, I personally think it's valuable. Now, I could be wrong and every relationship is different, but I am never, ever saying for you to just make effort and your partner is making zero effort. That is never what I am saying. I also want to mention all of my examples and all of the details I talk about. I am a therapist. I am a practicing therapist, but every example that I'm making, even if I say patient or I've seen this before, it is not a real person. I'm never going to share details about what my work and what I'm seeing. I'm just really good at understanding how these details work. So a lot of my examples are very realistic and detailed, but they're not real people. They're not real. They sound real because a real person like that could exist, because I'm a therapist and I can see so many lives, but none of the examples are actual real people. Like there's no one that is exactly that way because I'm just making an example for you guys to understand. I hope that makes sense. This is better for long-term relationships and people who are committed to making the relationship work. Just wanted to let that be out there. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. So the very first one is how to make a relationship work long distance with an avoidant. This one is really important. This one is focusing on your hobbies and your connection with family/friends or social time. Now, why did I add that as the first one? Long distance relationships in general can be difficult for anybody. And yes, it is difficult for avoidants as well. Most people want to see their partner more often, and it's really hard if there's a barrier, especially if the long distance is like different coasts, like West Coast to East Coast or international, right? That's really hard. And so it's really important to focus on hobbies and independence to not just build your own life just in general, because the goal is for you guys to have life together, which it is together. But it's also just to increase the positivity and your mental well-being while being separated. Because long distance it's not fun. It can be, but it also creates a little bit longing, and it's hard to be so far from your partner. So the main reason why I mentioned hobbies and independence in general is so that you guys can continue to manage your self-regulation, your connection with yourself, because you can't necessarily connect with your partner as frequently as maybe you would like. And it also helps the avoidant partner. They respect independence more often because they're very independent and they were subconsciously raised that way. Not always directly, but kind of indirectly. And so when you're having that independence and hobbies, they can learn to understand how you're feeling and they feel more safe with you because it's familiar. So that's very important as well. The next one is in general, build your self-worth. If you feel like your self-worth needs a little bit of building, it's very important. Self-worth building I think it's more beneficial if you're in a relationship than if you're out of a relationship. If part of that came across a little wrong. I'm not saying it necessarily like that. But if a lot of your triggers are in a relationship, it's very important to heal those things while in a relationship so that you can manage where these triggers are and kind of try again. So let me give an example. A lot of individuals who are anxious, preoccupied, they feel unlovable and they feel like maybe their partner doesn't like them, right? And so while being in a long-term relationship, you start learning, okay, my partner does like me because then why do they answer the text messages so quickly? My partner does like me because then why are they still here? It sounds very simple, but it's really important to remember that because anxious, preoccupied, you guys can get caught in negative thoughts, right? And as an avoidant individual, it's really important to build your self-worth in a relationship because that's where your triggers are. Somebody does want to commit to you. It's okay to commit. It's okay to show your feelings, right? Building your self-worth in whichever way it is. It can just be in general more of a lighthearted self-worth, so to speak, not such deep attachment wounds, but it can also just be like saving money to buy a house or getting new clothes, whatever makes you feel better, just building those things so that when you guys can, hopefully one day, depending on your goals, get closer together and kind of bridge the gap of the long distance, you guys can bring those things to the relationship as well. Okay. The next one, the third one, which I think is very, very important, regardless of attachment style, that you have a designated time where you see each other, right? And this will be something you both agree on, and it's something that you both must do the work for this in order for it to function smoothly. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you guys live an hour or two away. I think that will, depending on the relationship, maybe that will work for once every other weekend, depending on how far you guys are. But you guys both kind of commit to that, right? Now, let's say it's you guys live the different coasts. It might be even hard to do once a month. You might have to do once every 3 months. But that also means maybe more phone calls, maybe more FaceTime, maybe more frequent text messages, maybe more frequent gift giving, whatever it is that you guys need to feel connected to. Kind of agree on that agreement, the designated connection, the designated time. I hope that makes sense. Because again, if you guys are an international couple, that might be even more difficult. You guys might not see each other for a long time, but just make communication, make some way so you guys can feel connected, and you both have to agree on it, okay? The fourth one, and this I recommend just in general, it depends, but I really do recommend texting daily. Now, not everybody wants that, and I understand that, but especially with long distance, it's very important. You guys are a couple, and so most couples, every relationship is different, so please take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, but most couples tend to talk every day, and so including that in a long-term relationship will allow the intimacy to feel more direct, and it could also make more genuine intimacy be built throughout, right? You can use this as a stepping stone. So texting daily is very important. So that one's number 4. Number 5 is, how would I describe this? Know how your partner communicates. And this is more specifically an actual tangible type of communication. So some dismissive avoidants don't like phone calls. That one's really common. Then others don't like text messages and are much better with phone calls or in person. So know how your partner communicates and how you communicate so you guys can establish the best way to have the best connection. So if you guys have a lot of misconception when you guys are texting, it might be important to prioritize phone calls. Now, if phone calls is too difficult because of your schedules, prioritize texting more frequently. Whatever works, but that one's really important. Learn how you guys can communicate to make it really work, because long distance is very challenging, okay? It can be. The next one. When you guys are arguing, so long distance disagreements, which sounds difficult, right? I'm sure it is. Know when to take breaks from the argument, and also know when it needs to be prioritized. Because of the long distance, disagreements are a little bit harder to understand what's happening. Miscommunication is more likely to happen, I would imagine, right? And so understand when something needs to be prioritized, but also understand when things need to be taken a break from. So as the avoidant partner, you guys don't really like to fight all the time, and I get that. But maybe it's important to learn and prioritize, okay, this argument, if we don't fix this right away, both of us are going to have a horrible, couple days, couple weeks. So maybe tonight, instead of me doing my laundry or hanging out with my buddy, I'm going to go ahead and make a phone call to my partner so that I can clear up what's going on. And then the partner of the avoidant, understand that sometimes disagreements can create more barriers if you continue to kind of probe and kind of poke at the argument. Sometimes just let it be and let your partner come to you. Doesn't mean don't communicate, but maybe don't bring up the argument until your partner is ready. And in general, when you guys are arguing, I think it might be more beneficial to have the best communication style that might be beneficial for both of you guys. So some people don't like having phone call arguments because it can get really heated. So text message is easier because then you can manage your moods or kind of look at what you're saying before you send it. Some people like that. Other people don't like texting because the miscommunication, it can feel very detached and it feels easier to get on the phone and just sort it out. So you guys have to figure that out together. It's really important because you want to make this long distance relationship work, okay? The 7th is avoid negativity when meeting each other since the frequency is less. This one is very common, that dismissive avoidance. Almost every dismissive avoidant individual who has been in a long-term relationship has told me this. In their mind, they're thinking, you know, why can't we just be happy, at least just majority? Because I barely see you. I'm only seeing you once every other weekend. I don't want to fight because I have limited time with you, right? That's what they're saying, and they're saying to me in session, but their partner might be mad about something, which is also valuable. But if you're the partner, maybe understand that your avoidant partner, it's very possible they don't like to talk about arguments because they'd rather just be happy with you. It's really common. I want you guys to really know that. And as the avoidant partner, try to make more time for any of the what you call negativity, because it's important. You can't put things under the rug. You can't brush it under the rug, because what happens is it's going to build up and your partner might become more distant with you. So avoid negativity when meeting each other, but still have a designated time where you guys can have some conversations that are needed and necessary, okay? The 8th one is do activities together and build memories. When you guys are together, the time is more limited because it's long distance. Try to do things that will really create good memories for you guys. Go out and do something fun. I don't know, get a hotel, go to the beach, whatever it may be. Have those memories so that you guys can have that together. It's really, really important. A lot of avoidants don't like taking pictures, and I understand that. But if you could find some way to create a memory log or something together, that might be important as well. Just to have some photos. Again, it depends. Ask your partner. If you're the partner of an avoidant, ask them. But find ways to do activities together. The next one, and this is more for the partner of the avoidant, share your feelings little by little. But you have to share them. And so why did I say little by little? Because avoidants, they need a little bit of time to open up. And so if you're expressing them too much, it can be very overwhelming and your partner might not open up at all. So examples could be, and these are just examples, they don't necessarily have to be exactly this, but an example could be talking about missing your partner. You could say, I miss you and I'm looking forward to seeing you. That's very simple, and that's good as well. The other one could be if you want to put some reassurance and prompting in there, and this is more so better with two individuals who trust each other but are still working on building rapport, but it's still a long-term relationship. Like, you both want to make it work. Sometimes a prompt could be like this. I miss you, and I can't wait to see you. I know every person is different, and so I know sometimes you can't always show it like I do. But I just wanted to ask if you miss me as well. Everyone takes long distance differently. And just some version of that, right? You're trying to ask them and prompt them, open up. Do you miss me as well? Because a lot of avoidants don't realize they miss their partner because they're so used to shutting off their feelings. Again, this is just an example. It doesn't work for everybody. But it really does help if you kind of learn some of the techniques that I just, showed you. So you can learn to open them up. Because if you say, I miss you and I'm looking forward to seeing you, your avoidant partner might not respond or tell you that they miss you as well. A lot of times they won't know how. And so it's very important that you prompt them. And as an avoidant partner, if you are the avoidant, if your partner is opening up and telling you something, try to understand that you probably have those feelings as well. I know this sounds weird, but you likely have those feelings as well, but they're just suppressed because you know that you've always kind of been a little bit detached, or it's been a little hard for you to express your feelings. I'm just being honest. And so it's very likely that you guys feel similarly. You just don't know how to show it or find it. And so it might be helpful if they say they miss you, you can say, I miss you too. Just, it's very likely that you do. So don't be afraid to disappoint your partner. Try to learn to open up. They will be appreciative of that. I hope that makes sense. I apologize if the video was a little confusing, but go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, and I will see you in the next one.